What's going on, everybody? It's Dylan and Ross Save Sports, Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. I scared Dylan. I came for him. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. We are here. It is a fresh week here at Full Press Coverage at Dylan Ross Save Sports. As always, oh man, Dylan Sanders at Dilly Sanders on Twitter with that creepy little baby Yoda that I hate so much, and myself, Ross Jackson at Ross Jackson Nola. It's moving. I hate it. I hate it so much. It freaks me out. We have a ton to talk about. Ignore that thing over there, but we have a ton to talk about in today's episode. Of course, we have the Julio Jones trade. Julio Jones. That trade did happen. Quintorris is now Quintorris is now a Tennessee Titan, and we also have some NBA news, of course, as we continue on, and some college baseball going down as well. But before all of that, Dylan, how are you, buddy?
Over here in Baton Rouge, we're doing good over there. Over here.
Do you think Coach O knows when he's got like a frog in his throat?
I don't know, a little ribbit.
You know what I mean?
Frogs.
Like, does Coach O even know that he needs to clear his throat at all?
Maybe he's never cleared his throat.
And that's why he sounds like he sounds now. That could be.
He just needs to go, and he's gonna be. Oh, hey guys! Oh,
Yeah, right.
see Coach O. No. Go down over here to gumbo. Yeah, so we're gonna win this game, guys.
Oh man, that's perfect. Hey, speaking of that, you had a big announcement today on Twitter at Dilly Sanders. You want to tell the folks what's going on?
So I'm going to be working over starting at the start of the semester. I'm going to be working and covering sports. Don't know exactly what all it will entail, as we'll discover that closer we get to the semester. But we're going to be talking, writing about sports over at LSU at the Reveille, the student paper.
That's
over
awesome,
there.
Man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to afford for a lot of insider information that building relationships with the LSU staff over there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's great. That's awesome. Have you listened to that podcast I sent you yet?
Yes, I did.
Perfect for you, right? Like
yes,
I listened to it yesterday and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect for Dylan."
Yes, yes, great. It was a lot of good talk, a lot of good information, and I'm excited to put some of it to practice,
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, it's awesome, man. As always, I'm proud of you. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to share all your stuff and promote all your stuff and support any way that I can. So it's awesome. Congratulations, dude. Much deserved.
Yeah. It's been a fun little time. Ross, every day I look at my Twitter and I think, what am I going to do the day that Mina Kimes follows me?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what it's going to be like. I might stop tweeting. Because I see people
never tweet again.
Yeah, I just see people getting followed by people that they admire a lot, and I'm just thinking what's the day going to be like whenever Mina Kimes follows me? Yeah. I'll probably just quit tweeting.
No,
because I don't want to tweet something that then makes Mina Kimes unfollow me.
Whoa.
And that'll feel worse.
I gotta check to make sure the person that follows me that I don't want her to unfollow me, and I hope I haven't made her unfollow me yet.
I don't think you have.
Okay, all good so far. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I can do it, you can do it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Especially with the expansive amount of craziness that I tweet.
I mean, hey, Bomani Jones follows the Canal Street Chronicles account, and I haven't made him unfollow us yet.
There you go. You've got practice in.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I was shocked whenever I saw that he followed us, but I was happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was it one of your tweets that made him follow, or did he already follow?
No, he had already followed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He did a guest picking
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and he followed after that. But Ross, what's up? How you doing? How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. I am keeping busy doing all the usual stuff and everything,
Okay, so Baby Yoda's eyes are still open and they haven't closed like normal, and I think it might be possessed now.
Listen, I told you to stop messing with that thing. I told you to stop messing with that thing. I don't mind it when it's just chilling. It's just when it's in movement. That's when it really gets on my nerves. Ugh. Ugh. Yike. Yike.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What's this like? That goes on the D tier on the tier list of
things.
Star Wars things. Of just general things.
That goes on the D tier.
General things.
Man, Ross, it's been a big couple days of sports. Why don't we start off? Can I start off? I think there's only one way we can start this off.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only one way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to sit up there and say something that I've never said about an NFL team before. I mean, Atlanta Falcons might be the dumbest team that I've witnessed in the modern era. I want to get this. Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel? Is that how you feel?
It's just come on, man. Come on.
So, in case somehow you haven't heard, the Atlanta Falcons traded away Julio Jones and a 2023 sixth-round pick to the Tennessee Titans for a 2022 second-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick. So, John Robinson goes out there, gets his guy. Julio Jones is now a Tennessee Titan. Apparently, there wasn't that much of a market for him at all, by the way. Albert Breer did a really phenomenal breakdown of the way that the whole trade came together, going back months into all of it and everything over at Monday Morning Quarterback over at SI. Great piece there. So you are not a fan of this trade from the Atlanta Falcons perspective.
Yeah.
How
first off, Ross.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, please.
I want to throw it over to one of my favorite things from Twitter. Probably my favorite thing from Twitter.
Sure.
Because it has to do with this. You might be familiar with this clip.
Okay.
It's from the live show from Locked On NFL with one Mr. Ross Jackson over here. Set the stage for us, Ross.
Yeah, so this is Locked On NFL Sunday, which is as Dylan mentioned, is the live Sunday show that I do every Sunday morning with Cody Roark. Cody is the daily host over at Locked On Broncos, and we had Tyler Rowland, who is the host of Locked On Titans podcast, on with us yesterday to talk about the Titans being the team that is most connected to the Atlanta Falcons in terms of a Julio Jones trade. And in the midst of us also having some other conversation about Ryan Tannehill, who did make the Locked On NFL top 10 quarterbacks list going into 2021, Cody saw a tweet. I'll put it that way.
All right.
Hey, we got breaking news here.
What we got?
Ian Rappaport just tweeted, the Falcons are trading all-pro wide receiver Julio Jones to the Titans in exchange for at least a second-round pick. Adam Schefter says Falcons and Titans still are discussing whether the package for Julio Jones will be a second and a fifth-round pick or a second-round pick with a swap of other picks per source. We got breaking news here on the show.
There we go.
Folks.
Let's
can
get
I say
it.
This?
Yes,
can I
please.
say this right now? Can I? Oh, so now I got a busy afternoon, guys.
Tyler could barely contain himself. And he also has this great moment where he just yells, Julio! He was so excited. And he had that moment where like he puts his hand up and you could just watch his eyes just like bulge wide open. It was an incredible moment. It was such a good spot.
I remember the last time I felt like that was whenever the Rockets traded for Russell Westbrook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Hopefully it turns out better for the Titans than it did for Houston, because now we're on the verge of not getting our first-round pick.
Right. I think probably for me, the last time that I felt like a huge thing had just happened that was like franchise changing for a team that I root for would probably be the lottery for the Pelicans.
Oh, yeah.
When they got the first overall pick and we all knew, they're going to pick Zion.
Oh, man. I could have a feeling like that coming up soon.
You could. Cade Cunningham.
Please.
Future Houston Rocket Cade Cunningham. I want the Pelicans to luck into like a top 3, top 4 selection somehow or another so that they can get Jalen Suggs, and I'd be really happy about that. But all right, so okay. Tyler does a really phenomenal job, by the way, over at Locked On Titans, breaking down what this trade means for the Titans. So let's go team by team here and talk about how it affects the team. We'll start off with the Titans, who get Julio Jones, again, at the cost of a second-round pick for next year, and then the following year, a fourth-round pick, but they get a 6 back that year. So they really only lose 1 draft pick, and it's a second for next season. What does Julio Jones bring to the Tennessee Titans, and how differently are you looking at the Tennessee Titans now post Julio Jones trade, if at all?
Well, obviously it's big right now. Has a wide receiver trade ever brought a team to a Super Bowl?
The only one that I can think of that maybe changed the perception of a team, I'm trying to think. DeAndre Hopkins kind of changed the perception of the team for Arizona, but I don't think that a trade has ever brought a team to the Super Bowl. Maybe Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders for the 49ers when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl just a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the only one that I can think of that actually helped a team immediately, propelled a team to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that the Titans getting Julio without having to trade away a defensive starter is bigger than Emmanuel Sanders.
Big time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even with him being 32 years old. Do you feel, and this is a popular conversation right now, I'm interested in your thoughts on it. You have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. You've got Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. You've got Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf in Seattle. Is there a better wide receiver tandem in the NFL right now than Julio Jones and A.J. Brown?
Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley. No. No, I don't think so.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, maybe in Tampa Bay?
No, I don't think so. I think Chris Godwin is probably maybe the best of those 3 receivers.
I agree.
Of those 4 receivers.
Sure.
But Mike Evans is the 4th on that list.
Below Slotty Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Tyler Johnson?
Yes. Anthony Johnson,
right. former Buffalo legend. Oh man, we were so high on him too. I still am.
Former Tampa Bay legend. Where is he?
That's true.
What team is he on? I keep up with him. I think he's on the Steelers practice squad. I don't know.
Nice. I would say probably in terms of wide receiver duos, they're right up there, and I don't know that anybody's better. I think if you expand it to pass catching duos, skill position outside of running back included, I think maybe you can say Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, perhaps. But I do think that A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, it's a very, very good wide receiver tandem. And it's going to be really interesting because do you feel like it's going to affect at all the Tennessee Titans? And also knowing that Arthur Miller, he's a playwright. Arthur Smith is now no longer there. He's in Atlanta. Do you feel like the Titans go away from running the ball 1,700 times a season?
Yeah, I do think it's a big miss for them not having King Arthur. Oh wait, no, he's a king. Arthur Smith.
See,
Arthur Smith. Man, there's just so many Arthurs. Arthur the Anteater.
Hey, I had a wonderful kind of day. Yes, exactly.
I do not think that the Tennessee Titans are going to be doing the Arthur Fist in the postseason, and they're going to be going further. I think it works for them. Yeah. I think it works out. I think that's kind of what they needed. Because they missed Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith, but I think Julio more than makes up for that.
Yeah, I think as low as you might be on Corey Davis, you might be on Corey Davis. Corey Davis still had a 900-yard receiving season last year. I mean, he still contributed quite a bit. And now all of a sudden you put Julio Jones in that, and that was with a very heavy run game. That was with an incredibly athletic tight end like Jonnu Smith, who caught 8 touchdowns last season, and Corey Davis was still putting up those kind of numbers. I think Julio Jones fits right into that in terms of fitting in and being a piece of an offense that likes their big chunk plays.
Because not to forget, the Titans also add Josh Reynolds this offseason.
Right.
And
Great
they
number
drafted, they drafted Des Fitzpatrick, and Racey McMath. So I think that they're gonna be able to, put some stuff together. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. I have a dream for Racey McMath, but it's not going to happen, and I know it. But
what is it? What is
my
it?
dream of dreams is that somehow or another they just find that they can't keep him. He just doesn't fit anywhere, and then he hits free agency, and then the Saints sign him. That's
never going to happen.
It's
Ross.
never going to happen. That's the only way that New Orleans goes after LSU players, right? Is if they're like undrafted or they hit the free agency market at some point. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's an option. But the next thing that I want to talk about here is looking at the Atlanta Falcons and how this affects the Atlanta Falcons. So I think it's really interesting to look at it because there's kind of some of the folks that we've talked to, and I think we both agree, have sort of mentioned that this feels kind of like a lateral move for the Atlanta Falcons, except for the fact that they lose out on what they could have had going into the season.
Yeah, it feels like they just got 10 more years of wasting Julio Jones in drafting Kyle Pitts. I don't know. It's lateral because now who do they have? They have Calvin Ridley and Olamide Zacchaeus. Oh, and Buffalo legend Antonio Nunn.
Oh, there you go.
Also,
Antonio Nunn
and Senior Bowl legend Frank Darby. So, it's just a complete lateral move, I think. Yeah. Why? I don't get the pick if you're going to trade away. I don't get picking Kyle Pitts and not going all in on offense. I don't get picking Kyle Pitts if you don't know you're also going to have Julio, and then they're going to, because now what do you have? You have two good receiving threats that are going to get covered, and whenever you could have had three, and it would have been impossible to cover. I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing is like what you could have had here is this defense that would have this offense that just would have been a nightmare for every defense to match up with, right? Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Hayden Hurst, Russell Gage out of the slot. Like that would have been a very good offense to field. And then you have Mike Davis, who can also catch out of the backfield and who's no slouch as a running back either, fit in and really covered for or started in place for Christian McCaffrey last year valiantly. Did a really good job there. But now you've sort of gotten to the point now to where you kind of have to relegate Kyle Pitts to pick up the production that you would have had with Julio Jones, or that you have had with Julio Jones, let me say it that way, in a transition year for him where he's going into a position that is really, really hard to transition to at the next level. There is the potential, I'm sure, to use Kyle Pitts on the outside more, but at that point, you're also asking him to kind of learn a different position as well. I don't know. I mean, I think Calvin Ridley is your ex-receiver nonetheless, and then you just kind of have to solve your problem at the flanker spot now. If you're Atlanta. But I think Kyle Pitts has a role. I wrote about it this morning that I think that Kyle Pitts now comes in and has a really specified role as a red zone target. And I think that works really well for him. I mean, you look at Julio Jones over the last 3 years, he was not getting a lot of targets in the red zone, not as many as some of the top wide receivers around the NFL. You look at a guy like Devontae Adams, who played only one more game than Julio Jones over the course of that 3-year span and had 69 targets in the red zone, while Julio Jones was sitting at around 50. So he sits a good 16 players away from the top of that spot or from the top of that list. And then you bring in a guy like Arthur Smith, who utilized Jonnu Smith in the top 10 in terms of targets in the red zone last year, and also in the top 5 when it came to red zone touchdowns last year with Tennessee. And you give him a piece like Kyle Pitts, you have to imagine that the usage for Kyle Pitts should mirror that of Jonnu Smith.
Yeah. This, it obviously affects us as Saints fans, but it affects, a big threat is now out of the NFC.
Yeah, all told.
In Julio Jones. Like, everyone in the NFC should be happy. Except, the Saints still do play him this year. When they do play Tennessee in a game I'm not looking forward to.
Me either.
At all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he'll fumble a couple times for old time's sake.
It's interesting, right? Like the Saints have fared very well against Julio Jones. Only 3 career touchdowns in 18 games going up against him, but 4 fumbles and I believe 4 tackles as well, which goes to show you how much Matt Ryan's done there. But I think you have now, as Julio Jones, regardless of who you're playing, but in that construct, you have a quarterback that's a little bit more careful with the ball. You have an offense that has a good offensive line. You have an offense that has a fantastic run game as well. You also have an offense that still has, and I know how much you like this player, but they also still have kind of a hidden weapon in Darrington Evans that they haven't utilized much yet, that I think will get a lot of opportunity. He's been spending some time over this offseason, according to Tyler Roldan of Locked On Titans, working with the wide receivers, not because he's going to play wide receiver, but because they want to add that to his game. Right, sort of in the way that you see like Travis Etienne working with wide receivers. You see Alvin Kamara line up in the receiver spot or in the slot. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. They want to be able to utilize him the same way. That could be a really nice compliment to a guy like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I agree. It's that team's scary. Team's scary.
It's scary.
That's all that there really is to say.
Yeah. There are a couple of things that changed in terms of the perception of these two teams in Vegas's eyes. The Tennessee Titans went from an over-under in terms of win totals of 9 up to 9.5, and then the Atlanta Falcons stayed at 7.5, but under is now the favorite when over was the favorite there. So let's do this before we hit the break. When it comes to both of these teams, Tennessee Titans 9.5 now. Are you going over or under for them and their win total for 2021?
Over. I was going over before, but I'm definitely
Same.
going over now.
Yeah. I was kind of seeing them as like an 11-win team. Now I would push it to 12. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of a thing for me. And then for 7.5, the under is now the favorite for Atlanta. Do you go with the under?
I was going with under before.
Which was interesting because the anticipation was that they were going to have a ridiculous offense.
Mm-hmm.
In the
But
midst of all that.
That's what Atlanta's always had.
Right. There's all these question marks over on the defensive side now.
Because I'm gonna be real. Kyle Pitts, can't wait for him in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie tight end in the NFL. There's only so much you can do. It's gonna be hard for him this year.
Yeah.
The Falcons, book it, Ross. Book it. The Falcons, book it, Ross. Bookmark this. Save it. The Falcons are picking in the top 3 this year.
Oh, wow. That was not what I expected at all. Well, it's good because they'll probably be in need of a quarterback next year. So, and if only, and you know, it's not like there was a great quarterback available at pick 4 or anything this past year, you know, that they could have gone with. Mac Jones. I'm just joking. Justin Fields, obviously. But this is another thing that's pretty interesting here is that you look at them as being this offense that could have had a lot of firepower, not a lot of attention still given to the defense with a secondary that needs some help, pass rush that needs some help, things like that. So, you know, you were preparing to build up this offense that was going to be able to survive, you know, these shootouts, basically.
All right, Ross, real quick, I have a game for us to play.
Okay.
I'm going to fall asleep real quick, and I'll wake up when you say something about the Atlanta Falcons that worries me.
I'm not going to say anything. I don't think I'm going to say anything that worries you. I will say, though, that they free up $15 million of salary cap space.
Salary cap space?
So they free up $15 million of the salary cap space. Now, a good portion
They're
of
going to need that to save. They're going to need that money whenever no fans show up to the game.
A good portion of that, probably about $6.5 million, has to go to signing their rookie class, and then $8.5 left over. I don't know how much you're going to really be able to add to your defense with that.
All right. So how much do they have left? How much will they have left, Ross?
They'll have about $8.5 million, somewhere around that.
All right. So if you take $8.5 million, you divide that by 2. That's 4,250,000. You divide that by 2. That's $2,125,000. So that's, let's see, 2,125,000. You subtract from that $2,124,250. That's how much money Donald Trump paid.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure.
It's been months since we've broken that out.
I wasn't sure which one you were going for. I didn't know if you were going for the taxes or if you were going for 228.3. I didn't know which one you were going for. Outstanding. I'm glad you went with the one that I didn't expect, though. So shout out to you.
We haven't done that one in months, Ross.
It's been a minute for that one.
See, also, or with the 8.5 million, let's see, they could buy, if you were wondering, they could buy 2,130,325.815 Big Macs.
How much is a Big Mac?
$3.99.
$3.99. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. It's going to be really interesting to watch and see what they continue to do here throughout the offseason. My favorite thing from Twitter before we go to break is that once Julio Jones was traded, Melvin Ingram, who is still a free agent at the moment, free agent pass rusher who spent his entire career with the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers, tweeted out that he and Julio Jones should come as a package deal. So if they restructure Julio Jones or if they restructure Ryan Tannehill, which seems very likely as well, then maybe Melvin Ingram heads over to Tennessee and they finally get the pass rusher they need. Which I think at that point you say, hey, they're in the top 3 when it comes to the AFC for sure. I think they might already be there, but I think that would just help solidify it. Do you think they have enough firepower to where if they met the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game that you would feel good about their chances?
I don't know if their secondary can handle it yet. They're a young secondary.
Yeah, I agree. I think Melvin Ingram would help in just terms of giving that pass rush to help with the secondary. But yeah, I would still take Kansas City at this point as the favorite in the AFC. But I do put Tennessee now over Indianapolis when it comes to the AFC South. That's for sure. So, and, we've never been super high on Carson Wentz anyway. All right. Jump to the break. When we come back, NBA got that on the way, as well as some college baseball, baby. We're going to get our college baseball update from the one, the only Dylan Sanders. We got all that coming up for you here as we continue on with today's episode. Dylan and Ross Save Sports, Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. All right. Breaky break.
Break it, break. You know what time it is, Ross?
What time is it?
It's time for the break.
Wow.
Which means we are not going to say anything. We're not going to speak. Ross. How's your day been, Ross? Yeah. Okay. Ross?
I thought we weren't talking for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Did I ruin it?
I got bored of
Did
that.
I ruin it?
Ross, you're not supposed to say anything, Ross.
I ruined it. I knew I was going to do that. I'm the worst.
Gosh, dog it.
My day's been good. It is cloudy here. And I asked Google, I said, hey, Google, is it going to rain today? And Google was like, no. Like straight up told me no. And then it rained. So shut up, Google, you idiot.
Ha ha! Oh ho ho! I was watching this Vanderbilt baseball game last night, Ross.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that you were watching it.
And I don't know if you've ever watched a Vanderbilt baseball game, but there's this guy, and it's apparently been a thing for years, that just whistles the entire game. And it is literally unwatchable. I have to find a video.
Isn't that like the only thing that Vanderbilt's good at?
Yes. And you can't watch it because there's some dude whistling the entire time. And it's miserable.
Vanderbilt.
It's like not even fun whistling.
Somebody 1 year ago posted a video that says sitting near the Vandy Whistler and what it's like in the College World Series. Just trying to find a video of him part of him whistling.
I know what I have to do. Let's see.
Well, anyway, I'm not gonna sit there and search for it, but sounds annoying.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it did sound annoying. You know, I'm gonna try and find this real quick.
All good. I'm gonna bring us back from break.
Nope.
Doing it. All right, everybody, we are back. Dylan and Ross State Sports, Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. Dylan and I were just talking about is that the most annoying? Like, is that the most annoying thing that you have experience in watching a collegiate or professional sports game?
Maybe. I've almost found a clip for us.
Take your time. So Dylan was watching the Vanderbilt baseball game yesterday, and contends that it's unwatchable based upon the Vandy Whistler, who is, I guess, a longtime fan that always attends and just whistles the entire game. And apparently it is very, very tough to stand. Now, there was somebody not too long ago that did a Twitter kind of chart of, it put a graphic out about the worst college traditions. Do you know, did he fall under Vanderbilt for that?
He might have had to.
Assuming that Vanderbilt was on that list. Let's see.
But I'm just more annoyed that I took time out of my day to watch a Vanderbilt game. And I was annoyed. I was barraged.
Vanderbilt does not fall on this list, but you know what? They probably, if they did, I imagine that he would be there.
Okay, I found a good clip.
All right.
Let's see.
Can I say while you load this up, on this list for Miami, Florida, the worst tradition, number 1 is the turnover chain, and I hard disagree.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, so this is this is 4 hours and 12 minutes into this game, Ross. Imagine this after every play.
Not a chase ball 4.
Right? Right? I think it's before the pitch.
Okay.
To throw off the pitcher or something.
Crawford with a 3-2.
Did you hear that?
That's really annoying.
Also, shout out to him.
Swing and a drive, deep down.
He cranked it. Oh my
He cranked it. He did crank that. But imagine that after every play, before every pitch, Ross.
Woof.
They couldn't watch it.
That's tough. And does he do that only when the opposing pitcher is pitching?
I think so.
Probably,
I didn't stick around long enough to find out, Ross.
I can't say I blame you. I can't say I blame you.
There was I saw a clip let's see. I'm just glad I wasn't the only one that found it annoying. Rod Walker tweeted about
Oh no.
Rod Walker tweeted, I tried to watch the game, but I could not stand the whistling. I saw. Shout out to Rod Walker, by the way.
Shout out to Rod Walker.
It's a whole thing. It was a whole thing, and it just really sucked. Here is LSU players talking about playing in Vanderbilt.
Okay.
I saw this also as well. Oh wait, I should probably share it right here. Yeah.
A not so serious question to the two players. Did you guys notice the whistling throughout the game?
Yeah, that's
no comment on that
yeah,
one.
no comment.
I need to know what he was about to say, though.
I did. It probably wasn't great. Man, I'm just glad. Like I said, I'm just glad to know I wasn't alone. But we've gotten some fun baseball the past couple of days, Ross.
We have, Dylan, and you are our go-to college baseball correspondent. So lead us down. What's going on in college baseball right now?
So let's why don't we take a look over at the Gainesville regional, Ross? Let's start over there.
I wonder why you would start there, huh? I'm very interested. My interest is piqued, my friend.
So of course Florida is hosting, like the best team hosts the regional. So the best team for this one was the Florida Gainesville regional. And so they lost their first game actually 5-3 against South Florida.
Yeah, I guess that happens, right?
Yeah, it happens. They got sent to the losers bracket, which some of these teams do. LSU got sent to their losers bracket. I'm not afraid to admit that.
That's right.
So in their second match, they play against South Alabama.
Shout out Senior Bowl.
Shout out Senior Bowl. What can you what do you really expect from South Alabama? It's a loser go home. South Alabama made the trip out to Gainesville. It was fun. South Alabama actually beat Florida, but they did it with a score of 19-1.
Jeez.
We've gotten some football. We've gotten some football scores this weekend, Ross. We had look over at the Starkville regional. Mississippi State does advance, but in Campbell versus Samford, the final score is 16-13.
Jeez.
We've gotten some real football scores. Notre Dame beat Connecticut 26-3. Notre Dame moves out of the South Bend regional. Tennessee escaped their regional without any losses.
Nice.
And that is where the winner of the Eugene regional, which finishes out tonight at 9 p.m. Number 14 Oregon takes on LSU after LSU was able to hold off Oregon last night to force a Game 7. And so it'll be LSU versus Oregon tonight at 9, and the winner of that will face Tennessee.
Wow. So this is pretty big. I mean, regardless of what happens tonight, LSU's made a nice run after head coach Paul Maneri announces he plans to retire after this season. So they've made a nice run so far.
Yeah, he said after the game last night, the only thing he said to the players was, "Man, you guys will not let me retire."
That's great. That's outstanding.
Man, I'm all in tonight. It's gonna be fun. We've got some weird, some weird baseball. LSU baseball is weird. There's some weird circumstances, and you add the weird LSU baseball magic to Pac-12 After Dark.
Oh.
I'm sure we're in for an entertaining night tonight.
Yeah.
To say the least.
What is it that LSU does well, and what is it that Oregon does well?
Oregon they have really good hitting. They're a really powerful team. Even their pitchers, Ross, are very good batters. They have a pitcher turned batter who's one of the best power hitters in all of college baseball.
Wow.
What LSU does best is a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none. They have some good. Everyone's pitching staffs are kind of depleted. LSU got away with only using 5 pitchers between the 2 games yesterday.
Yeah,
which is huge.
Yeah, that's big.
Oregon had to run through a couple during last night's game. But it's a Game 7. Everyone's available. No matter when they pitched, it's a Game 7. Everyone's available, and then you get until next weekend to rest, and then you go to Knoxville. Ooh. I'm trying to see if there's been any other big Louisiana Tech, unfortunately, has been eliminated. They lost the Ruston Regional. They lost to NC State. And Alabama was also in that. NC State escaped a regional in which both Alabama and Louisiana Tech were there.
Nice.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what else tonight. We have Nebraska forcing a Game 7 against Arkansas, and that is tonight at 6. Right now in the Oxford Regional, we got Ole Miss versus Southern Miss.
And Ole Miss, did Ole Miss
in Game
lose
7.
yesterday?
They lost yesterday, so this is game 7.
Got it.
Ole Miss is up 9-2 in the 4th inning. So they've come out swinging.
Yeah.
They've come out swinging. Texas Tech escapes the Lubbock Regional. Arizona escapes the Tucson Regional. And then tonight, shout out Tyler Ross. We got the Columbia Regional, in which game 7, in which it is Old Dominion versus Virginia.
Love it.
Love you some ODU love. And then
great.
lastly, we're in the middle of game 7 in the Gainesville Regional, South Florida versus South Alabama. It is 2-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. So we got a good game over there.
Yeah. I'm pulling for South Alabama.
I am too. I'm always like, all right, let's give Mobile is such a fun city, and they're always so nice to the people coming to the Senior Bowl every year. I want to have, go ahead, have some fun.
Yeah.
But speaking of having some fun, Ross, let's switch over to the NBA.
Let's do it. So we had a pretty big night last night in the NBA, and we have 2 more games this evening. So just to get caught up on what took place last night, we had the Atlanta Hawks pulling out to a huge lead up against the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia 76ers kind of closing that up a little bit late, but ultimately Atlanta getting the first game in Philadelphia in the series, 128-124. What were some of your takeaways from that matchup?
It's going to be a weird series, I think, because I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to pull off that much, like that big of a lead every game. But also, it's not great for Philadelphia because you're telling me Philadelphia, Joel Embiid, ESPN loves to autoplay videos. They're super loud.
It's the worst.
Joel Embiid scores 39. Seth Curry scores 21. Tobias Harris scores 20. Matisse Thybulle scores 10. Ben Simmons, 17 and 10, had a double-double, and you lost?
Yeah, it's rough.
If all that happens and you lose, what is that going to... That does not bode well.
Yeah, not a lot of confidence being inspired from a performance like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where especially when you show up. You showed up, but then you couldn't close it out.
Yeah, you gave up 15 points to Mr. Martin Luther King, Kevin Huerter on the bench.
Oh man. I'll never get over that. Oh, it's rough.
No one talks about it, Ross.
Tears in my
but
eyes.
It was absurd.
It was absurd. It was absolutely absurd. I don't care how many days it was until MLK Day. It was weird. Anyway, jeez. Now I'm mad. Trae Young's great. Continues to be great.
Yep.
He was a lot of fun to watch yesterday. We'll see if he can close it out again tomorrow or if Atlanta can continue this success tomorrow. I agree with you. I think they found success in this game, but the only reason why they survived it is because they were fortunate enough to open it up so wide so early in this matchup. You're not going to get that type of security every game. You're
not going to get a 42-27 first quarter every game.
Right.
They scored 42 points in the first quarter,
Right.
Ross, and lost by 4. So,
yeah.
I mean, won by 4. So, yeah, because then again, in the fourth quarter, it was 41-29. So, Atlanta their problem has been closing out games. And this was a major one that does not inspire confidence.
Yeah. And this was also the team shooting 54% from the floor, 51% from the floor, and 42.6% from 3. And you're just simply not going to do that every game.
Mm-hmm.
You're simply not always going to have that.
Yeah. The other game, Mavericks-Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers did it, Ross. They survived.
They survived.
They took out the Porzingis-led Dallas Mavericks.
126-111. Kristaps Porzingis, 16 points, 11 rebounds, had a double-double, 46 points from Luka Doncic. But
the co-star to Luka Doncic, according to Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes, this has been an interesting sort of scenario here. So the Dallas Mavericks now are now out of the NBA playoffs. The Clippers advance. They'll be taking on the Utah Jazz as they move forward to the second round. But there's been a lot of conversation around Kristaps Porzingis potentially being dealt in the offseason from the Dallas Mavericks. What was it that Kristaps Porzingis, or the news around Kristaps Porzingis, had to say earlier?
Porzingis said that he feels like an afterthought more than a co-star. Yes, it was. Porzingis has been frustrated, often feeling more like an afterthought than a co-star next to Doncic. Then one of my favorite quote tweets from that: fans have been frustrated, often feeling like Porzingis is playing like a rotation player rather than a co-star. I saw a really good report, which I just loved the phrasing of that. I gotta find. Report from NBA Central: trade interest in Kristaps Porzingis around the league is "quote unquote" minimal.
Yes.
Teams are scared off by the money, the health, and possibly his diminishing production.
Yeah.
Possibly. Have they been watching? Have they been watching this man? Listen, I've never been a Kristaps Porzingis fan, especially because he's also a terrible person off the court. So, I'm down giving him the name Pandemic P. We can switch that off of Paul George, put it over to Kristaps.
Yeah, he is due $31.65 million next year, $33.83 million in 2022-2023. And then I believe with a player option in 23-24, he goes up, with a 2023 player option, he goes up to $36 million.
Maybe Kristaps should go to the 76ers. He could learn a lot in Pennsylvania from one old Ben Roethlisberger. They're already following the same career path.
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
None of it is great.
All right, Ross. Tonight, let's look at the games tonight. We got Game 2, Milwaukee versus Brooklyn. James Harden is out for Game 2. But there was no structural damage found in his MRIs.
Oh, good.
So he could return. He is on a timetable to return for this series, I believe. So nothing crazy. He's not out for the rest of the playoffs.
That's good.
Which also, if he was out for the playoffs, I'd then be rooting against the Brooklyn Nets because I do not want James Harden's only ring to come from him being carried and not even playing in the playoffs.
Right. Good
But I don't know. It's that game. I don't really know what to expect from this series. Milwaukee favored by 1 point now with Harden out. Mm-hmm. Even though despite Harden not playing the entire game last time on Saturday and the Nets handling the Bucks.
Right.
It was close in score, but it did not feel like a close game.
Yeah.
For most of it.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it's not like Harden played most of that game. He got hurt immediately.
On the first very
possession.
beginning.
Yeah.
And it's not like the Bucks are the home team now.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's a good point.
Ross, I'm gonna be real. That game one felt like this series could be over in 4 games.
Yeah.
And honestly, I gotta be real. I've said it from the beginning. I think the best thing that could happen to Milwaukee is getting swept and firing Coach Bud. I'm not a fan of Coach Bud in Milwaukee. I just don't think that he fits that team well. Mm-hmm. He's making some terrible decisions also. What are these defensive assignments that the Bucks are coming up with?
Yeah.
You see who they have 6'2" people guarding Kevin Durant, but they have Giannis guarding the point guards. Like, what are these assignments frequently?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Coach Bud has been terrible at rotations and terrible at assignments his entire tenure in Milwaukee. It's been frustrating to watch, and the Bucks are never going to win anything with him at the head. I think he could do well with a better suited team. I don't think he's ready for a defensive first defensive head first, led by a big man. I think he needs like an offensive. Like I feel like he should go somewhere where they have more of an offensive look.
Where do you feel like he would be a decent fit?
I'm trying to think of who's going to be open in the offseason. Because Nate McMillan secured that job in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say maybe Atlanta.
Do you think he could be in a candidate for Boston?
I could see that fit. I could see Boston. Someone needs to hire Becky Hammond though.
Yeah, for real.
Please. And no one needs to hire Jason Kidd. We're past that.
Can we stop with all that
as a society?
Right, like that doesn't need to happen.
The Lakers could fire Frank Vogel, and then Bud could go over to the Lakers.
Be there if the Trailblazers spot opens up,
which it will.
Yeah.
Oh no, it did. It did
open up. That's right. It's already open. Yeah. So
they already agreed to part ways.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. Certainly, that happened right. And then of course, right after that, Dame Lillard saying that he wants Jason Kidd to be the coach. But I have a question about the Becky Hammond thing because I want to see Becky Hammond get a job. It's time. Boston seems to be the most likely, just in terms of connection and relationship. But is Boston the best spot for the first woman head coach? I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Like you get offered the job, you take the job. But I mean, that's a pretty tumultuous environment.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Boston fans and their ability to, be good people.
Sarah,
I'm joking. I like a lot of Boston. I'm friends with a lot of Boston people.
I'm friends with a lot of Boston fans too. Most of them women. And Ian.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's like women, Ian, and Mike.
Yeah. But the Boston fans I know don't really fit the narrative of what most Boston fans act like, right?
Right.
Or known for. The Boston Celtics fans in general are not don't have the best rep.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's it. Now, Becky Hammond will handle whatever, right? Like it's not a problem. But like, I just it would be trial by fire for sure. And I think she would handle
any coach going to Boston is trial by fire.
It's tough, yeah.
Because you're going to be expected to win immediately.
Mm-hmm. It's a historied franchise, and it is a historied franchise and a Northeastern franchise.
But you also get the fact that if you do fail horribly, they're going to give you a promotion in a couple of years.
Like, well, maybe it wasn't the person, it was just the fit in that position. Let's give them a more responsibility and see if they rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting way to address any issues. All right, let's take a look at so Bucks Nets. You got the Nets tonight?
Yeah.
I think so too. I don't have much faith in the Bucks in this series. Let's look ahead real quick as we wrap up to the Phoenix Suns, who will be hosting the second round of the Western Conference semifinals over there. Now they'll be hosting the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets moved on, and they'll be taking on the Phoenix Suns. In this game right now, the Phoenix Suns favored minus a handful, -5 in this game. What do you like about this matchup?
I am very sad that Jamal Murray is injured.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Nuggets with Jamal Murray in this series. Man, a good old Jamal Murray versus Devin Booker shootout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, give me that again.
Yeah.
Give me all of that. Or what did we see last year? Was it Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray? That was incredible. That was such an incredible series.
It was incredible. But now I want to see Jamal Murray versus Devin Booker. Yeah. And the next series, get Devin Booker versus Donovan Mitchell.
I think no matter what, you're getting the second one. But yeah, unfortunately, Jamal Murray's hurt.
Oh man, we got a good from WW Kalima on Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers. That's our sponsor for the show. We put all of our faith into those people. You have my word, Ross Jackson. That is not a scam.
Oh man, I'm gonna take the Suns tonight. I think that Denver's run has been great. Jokic has been outstanding, but I mean the Suns are just outstanding right now. The Suns are just really, really good right now, and as long as all the pieces are there, I think Phoenix is unimpeded throughout this series. I won't say that they won't lose a game, but I don't think there's anything that really slows down their momentum at any point throughout the series.
I would agree.
So
I'm all in on the Suns in this series.
Yeah. So that will be a very fun series. That will be on at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Dylan, same time as the LSU baseball game. Which one are you going to be watching?
Both.
Both of them. That's exactly right.
Both of them.
Remember when you had to pick? Remember those days?
Yeah. Now I don't.
Yeah.
I will say LSU is going to be on the big TV with the sound on.
Nice.
That's the choice you have to make. I'm going
Yeah.
to make that one.
Yeah.
And then at halftime, baseball doesn't have halftime, so I'm just going to keep watching LSU.
Yeah, I think.
Now, which one? The biggest thing is, Ross, which one ends first?
I just assume that baseball takes forever, so I'm just gonna say that because last night's baseball game went on for a while. Because I was even able to watch the majority of last night's LSU baseball game.
Yeah,
and that means it went on for late. And so I think the Suns Nuggets game will end first.
Well, I will say Suns Nuggets. I think starts. Does it start at 9?
Yeah, it's at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so 9 p.m. Central in real time, real human time. No one lives out in the West.
East.
East. Yeah, either or. Either or. Name one person that lives in the West, Ross.
Can't.
Name one person that lives in the East.
Couldn't do it.
Name one person that lives in Central Time.
I'm gonna say Dylan Sanders.
Whoa, look at that. Or the only one with a verified person, human living in it. Ross, you are an AI now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't
hate to break it to
exist. You. It's okay. I can't be upset about it because I'm not real.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Great for me.
Ross, we have got, on our original bracket. So far we have gotten 1, 2, 3 games wrong.
That's it?
3, not 3 games, 3 series was wrong. We did say Phoenix in 4, which was a little too brazen. We almost got it right with Utah in 6. It was Utah in 5.
Mm-hmm.
We said Philly in 6 against Washington. We said Brooklyn in 4 against Boston, which it should have been. We gave Miami in 7 against Milwaukee. We took the Knicks in 6 because it rhymed.
Yep.
Yeah. So now what we have, we did take Phoenix over Portland in 5. I'm sticking with that against the Nuggets.
Agreed.
We took Utah in 6 versus the Clippers, which I'm sticking with.
I agree.
We took the Knicks in 6 versus the 76ers because we wanted Brooklyn to be in the final. We wanted an all New York finals.
That's right.
But I'm fine giving Philadelphia in 6 versus the Hawks.
Yeah,
honestly, I think that. And then Brooklyn in 4 against the Heat. I'm taking Brooklyn in 4 against the Bucks. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we weren't terribly far off. We just won't get our all New York Eastern Conference final is all.
Mm-hmm.
So, but not bad.
Oh. What I had 500 people vote on who you got, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. It was 85% Floyd Mayweather.
85% were correct. 15% were deranged.
Or hopeful.
Hopeful. Amongst other things.
Ross, we need to try and get Sarah on at some point soon because the Astros versus the Red Sox is this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a guest Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we should get Sarah tomorrow. We should see if we can get Sarah on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we are going to take a short week this week. We're not going to have Thursday or Friday shows live.
Yes.
And everything. So everybody knows Dylan is going away for a little bit, and then we'll be back. I don't want to put all your business out there. See, he went away. Told you. But I also said he would be back. and he would be back. There we go. See? Never lost. All right. That's going to do it for today's episode.
Now it's just me, but people can still hear you, Ross.
Oh, can they? No, you can hear me. They can't hear me, but you could hear me. Now they can hear me. Oh.
They can still hear you, Ross. I didn't turn you off. I just put me over you.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah. See, now no one can hear you, and I'll do the outro today. You can find me on Twitter at Dilly Sanders. You can find Ross on Twitter at Ross Jackson. Nola, Ross, take it away.
All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Dylan and Ross Save Sports here on Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. Hey, Dylan, do you think we save sports today?
Go Dodgers!